Welcome back to Vertigo, a House of Bob Lancer campaign set in the distant Long Rim.
Hi, I'm Dan. I'm playing Rusk Tillsen, callsign Vestige, the over-the-hill super soldier.
This is Alex. I'll be playing Matt Ryoska, callsign P.C.B, the ever-loyal, union-loving droid.
And I'm Jake, your game master. If you'd like to support the show, please give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts, stop by our Patreon, or tell your friends about us. Roll on. Last episode, Matt and Rusk had been sent by Commander Sunita to meet with the Aunic resistance group, known as the EAMONN. Their leader, Anima, proposed a joint operation to free prisoners from an Ascendancy citadel, using your firepower to protect a team of infiltrators as they gain entry and free the prisoners. There isn't a whole lot of trust yet between the Union and the EAMONN, and there are some conflicting interests here. Sunita wants you to grab any Aunic tech you can get your hands on for study, whereas Anima has forbade you from doing so, as their tech is kind of closely tied to their spirituality. Anima has also expressed concern over any collateral damage to the city, while Sunita's itchy trigger finger is eager to try out her new artillery. In preparation for the operation, you hit a few key positions in the city. Anima led Matt and Little Matt to a supply depot, where you gained a guidance mod, which is attaches to one of your weapons, giving it additional accuracy. It's basically just like plastic rectangular housing that you attach onto the gun, and you see like some circuitry-like lines spread from it and around your gun and connect the powerful sensor suite inside to your existing weapon.
That's fucking badass.
Secondly, you sent a task force to the anti-air battery protecting the city, which will allow you to take a pair of air transports to the Citadel instead of the roads, which will give you a much wider deployment zone and make for an easier escape afterwards. And finally, Rusk went to the shield generator and disabled it, which gives you guys the options of calling in a Union artillery strike, should you wish. I gave you an orbital bombardment reserve, which lets you, once as a full action, paint a target in line of sight to call in a blast to 3d6 damage strike.
Ooh.
So you got one of those available to you. So it's time to begin. Get the show on the road. You load up the transports, along with Anima and the armored ground transport that's carrying the infiltrator team. And this is the first time you've seen these infiltrators, and they're wearing that armor that Anima was wearing. Looks like very teched out. And, there's cables and plugs running from the armor to various parts of their bodies. And these guys are wearing, kind of a full, sleek, dark helmet as well, whereas Anima wasn't. There isn't a lot of time, but any last-minute questions or things to do or say before I bring up the map and we get started?
Nah, I'm good to go.
Yeah, fucking hit me. I'm ready to blow some shit up.
So as you fly over the city, you see the Citadel, which is a tall, half-circle-shaped building made of gleaming white metal and glass. And as you approach, you see the kind of operational zone. You see the Citadel in the north. To the west, there are some apartments and office buildings and a large parking structure. And to the east, a park with tidily arranged lines of trees in red, orange, and purple, and rows of well-manicured bushes. In the center of the park, a fountain with a large golden statue of an individual wearing Aunic religious garb and wielding a large staff. Their face is perfectly smooth and featureless. And there's a main road leading from the Citadel down to the bottom of the map, which is where you guys originally would have deployed along with the infiltrators. However, since you're arriving in the air transport, you can drop anywhere on the map you like. Ultimately, the objective will be to get the infiltrator truck to the green zone outside the Citadel, and then hold the green zone long enough for them to get in, save the prisoners, and get out. A couple things to consider. You don't know what the security forces will look like on the map yet. That was an option if you guys had taken over the comms tower, but you didn't have time for that.
Mm-hmm.
So, Anima says, while the objective is to get the infiltrators to the green zone, you might not want to drop directly on there because that's likely where the security will be the tightest, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you may want to drop somewhere else and clear out the zone first, or whatever works best for you guys.
How fast is this like?
So the truck carrying the infiltrators has a speed of 5.
Okay.
So if you started in the blue zone, it would take 4 rounds for it to get there.
Okay. And are we like deploying all of us together, or do we have the option to like deploy some of us at different places throughout the map?
Mm.
So you're on a pair of transports, 2 different transports, so you could drop in 2 different places, we'll say.
Matt, why don't you go with the transport truck?
You got it. I'll provide the truck with cover.
And me and Anima will be separate.
Anima.
Okay.
So for drop points, I'm liking this intersection that's kind of north of us.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like a good middle halfway point. It gives us a bunch of different routes to maybe go from there, and then maybe that's where you get dropped, and then we get Anima and me get dropped over, maybe to the northeast, over in these trees for like some cover.
In the bushes?
Yeah, in the bushes.
Yeah, that makes sense. You can just sneak up on any opponents or whatever.
Well, what's even cooler is I can use my grapple and just like pull them into the bushes.
Ugh, amazing.
Is that cool with you?
Yeah, I like that.
Okay. So the transports fly in, kind of skirting the tops of the buildings, the apartment buildings here, and the back doors open up and you guys hop out. The infiltrator team and Mother kind of right in the intersection just south of the Citadel. And then Anima and Vestige are dropping in the trees in the park nearby where there's some cover.
Wow.
Whoa.
You see 4 confirmed enemy hostile forces on the map right now.
Mm-hmm.
2 of them you kind of look up in the Union database and you recognize it as a lurker type frame. And these are small, quick kind of melee units. They have these big energy whips.
Cool.
And they are currently inside of an anomaly known as a shroud zone. And this thing looks like basically a tiny little rip in space, through which you see it looks like a roiling sea of black and small motes of light, like rippling water reflecting the night sky.
Mm-hmm.
You can just barely make out the signature of the lurkers inside those shroud zones. There's one of those to the west, kind of right near where Mother landed, and one of them right by the Citadel. Then also by the Citadel, you see an Aegis, which is a small 4-legged unit with a metallic sphere as the core. And then there's also a priest, which is actually one of the smallest ones here. It's kind of almost like just a little bigger than a human. It's more like a power suit almost than a full mech.
Mm.
And it's surrounded by these like little drones that are flitting around. And they have like an energy field that connects between the different drones. So it's kind of like this hexagonal mesh of energy projecting from these drones that are surrounding it.
Wow.
And with that, we can begin.
Mm-hmm.
And as always, you guys get to go first.
I think that Matt should go first.
All right, Matt, you go
because
right
I've got
ahead.
all these support skills and I can set us up for success here.
Yeah.
I'm going to use my core system. For the rest of the scene, you and all allied characters within range 50 can move 2 spaces as a free action at their choice of the beginning or end of their turn. This movement ignores engagement and doesn't provoke reactions.
Grandmaster's Stratagem is kind of the name of the ability itself. The Mother unit has like decked out sensor array on top of its head. A bunch of little antennas sticking out of this massive circular body.
Awesome. I'm going to do a couple more quick actions here. So I'm deploying an automap. I'm going to deploy this one north of me on the road, kind of like between these 3 enemies, the Lurker, the Priest, and the Aegis, and myself. And then I'm going to overcharge. I'm going to use that to activate my Eggshell Storm Generator, which is a burst 3 zone that exists until the end of my next turn. Hostile characters have +3 difficulty on range attacks made against any character in the area, including me.
You whip up a little windstorm around you. It makes it very hard for projectile attacks to hit you, but it does plink away at your armor because of all these kind of whipping winds.
Yeah, I like whip up a storm full of exhaust and electricity around my mech, and it consumes me and the little truck, making us much harder to see. And I'm going to move 2 squares up. All right, that's my turn. I don't think there's anything else I can do. I've done a pretty big turn here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end of your turn, you're still in that windstorm, so you take 1 damage.
Okay.
Ow.
And who are you nominating to go next?
I will nominate Rusk to go next.
All right.
But first, the Aegis powers up. This is the 4-legged one with the spherical core. And you see that the core actually kind of opens up a little bit. And you can see, like Rusk, when you attacked the shield generator, it was this globe of amoebus energy, or almost like a globe of water that had been contained, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can see a smaller version of that inside of the spherical core of this unit.
Hmm.
And it is going to move. Just moves a little closer to the east where Anima and Vestige had set up. And you see the sphere inside begin to kind of undulate and project some energy. And a pitch black wall appears. It's about 5 squares tall and 10 squares long. And it just looks like this impenetrable darkness.
That's substantial. Okay.
And that's his turn.
So can't see through it, so no line of sight anymore.
Yeah, no line of sight through that zone.
Hmm.
And it is your turn.
That's a bit of a pickle.
Okay, so I'll shoot a grapple into the side of the building to my north, and I will use that as some sort of swing maneuver to move on to the other side of this scary black darkness. So at that point, I'm going to activate my core system.
Everybody pop all your cores on the first turn.
Yeah,
My core lasts the entire scene. Why wouldn't I?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I know. for
true.
sure.
Mine is less than that, but they should do some decent damage, though.
So tell us about it.
For sure. The system fires grappling harpoons at any number of targets within the range of 5 in line of sight. The affected baddies are going to make a hull save or take 2d6 kinetic damage and then be knocked prone, and then they are pulled adjacent to me or as close as possible. They become immobilized until the end of their next turn. So a lot of bad stuff, which is pretty awesome.
Bad stuff is awesome.
On a success, they'll take half damage and are otherwise unaffected. So let's get some hull checks.
A panel opens up on the front of your mech and all the battery of grappling hooks.
Mm-hmm.
And they fire out. Yeah, you'll be able to hit the lurker, the priest, and the Aegis.
Mm-hmm.
So the lurker fails.
That's what I like to hear.
The priest fails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Aegis fails.
Yeah. Oh my
Fucking
goodness.
flattening these guys.
So these 3 grappling hooks shoot out, knock them prone, grab under their
my
ankles,
God.
and just like drag them towards myself.
Incredible. Oh my God.
While I'm
Damn.
holding like this giant ass nanocarbon sword.
Can I activate automat for that?
No, that's not an attack. It's a ability or a save, right?
Okay.
But don't worry,
Gotcha.
he's still
Okay,
going to attack.
Okay.
But
Don't worry.
before that, you get to roll your damage, which is 2d6,
I
I
got
think.
it queued up. Yep. Right down the middle, 6.
6. Still not too shabby.
Yep, and I pulled him out of his shroud zone, which I think is probably a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, they're immobilized for like a whole turn, so that means we're just going to get some free hits in, I think.
Next turn, they'll be able to stand up, but they won't be able to move anywhere.
Better get your licks in, Matt.
Oh, I'm gonna.
Use that robo-tongue of yours.
Robotongue, wait.
Yeah,
Oh,
get
get your licks in.
How many licks to the center?
To you, Matt, so many.
Still have one more quick action.
Oh, God. All right. So I have my sweet nano sword out. So I think I'm just going to take a good old swack. A swack? Yeah. That's a word.
Swack it.
I like the idea of hitting the priest. Does that make me a bad person?
No. No, do it. Hit
All right.
that priest.
All right.
Right in his fucking noggin.
So if he's knocked prone, do I get a bonus to any of this?
1 accuracy, yep.
That is a hit. I hit him with a 15, and I did a total of 9 damage.
Nice.
Yeah,
That seems
so
pretty good.
it's quite good. Describe how you totally destroy this guy.
Oh, you know what I do? While he is being grappled, I put my sword into the ground,
Oh,
and then
jeez.
the grapple just literally pulls him in half. Or like
Oh
the grapple pulls him through the sword.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
That was pretty cool, eh, Matt?
That's brutal. Nicely done for the Union.
Woo!
So now at this point, you could choose to have the automat fire, but obviously it's already dead. So
At the dead priest.
don't what is it? Beat
It's
a
gonna
dead
be
priest,
like
is that
shooting
the
a
saying?
dead priest.
Don't waste the bullets.
I'll save it.
Well, I think that about does it.
As you pulled the priest towards you, it had like a PA system on it that was blasting out Onyx scripture. Very old Onyx. Your translator can't really understand it very well, but also it gets cut off halfway through as it is bifurcated.
Wow.
Put in a good word for me.
Yeah, Yikes.
Jesus Christ.
Okay. The lurker that you had just downed, it is his turn. There's these kind of like vents on its back, and it looks like a hole in space. This like black energy seeps out and creates a new shroud zone right on top of you guys.
Oh, no.
Whoa. What do shroud zones do again?
You don't know exactly yet.
Oh.
That might require a scan
Okay.
or something to know for sure.
Okay.
What you do see is as this shroud zone appears, it becomes very difficult to see the lurker. That's about all you know without, scan or something so far. You also can feel this kind of energy from the shroud zone. It's like it's trying to crush the mech, like you feel a really intense pressure. And as long as you're in the zone, you're shredded and impaired. Shredded is you could get no armor and resistance, and impaired means you get a -1 on everything.
Oof.
Again, he has these vents that the energy came out of, and a razor sharp cone of this energy bursts out at you, and you will have to make a engineering save, please.
It's like blowing its hot, stinky breath on you.
Yeah.
I thought it was immobilized.
Mobilized just means it's not moving. It can still attack.
That breath is very mobilized.
I got a 16.
Okay. You take half damage. You're able to kind of move just slightly out of the way of this spike of energy.
Mhm.
So it would have been 4 damage, so just 2.
Okay.
It is armor-piercing damage. So from the ground there, he's just going to try to whip at you with his like energy whips, and they start just flailing at you.
Mm-hmm.
He rolls a 16 to hit and deals 8 kinetic damage.
Oof.
Yikes.
And you see that energy whip wraps around your arm and tries to pull you towards it, but obviously you're already right beside it.
Just keep in mind, Dan, that you and I get +2 accuracy when we're adjacent to each other. Also, you can use my mech as hard cover.
So +2 accuracy on, I think it's any skill checks. So it would have helped against the energy
The first
cone, but
attack.
not against
Yeah.
the whip. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
I guess you can't nominate the priest to go next. So the lurker will be the next enemy. But first, it is Anima's turn. You see Anima begin to step forward. But as he does, he just kind of disappears. There's no like visual effect. He doesn't fade away. There's no portal that appears or anything. It's more like he just stepped behind a wall that you didn't know was there. Like as he was stepping forward, he just vanishes out of sight. And at the same time, he appears up on the top of this parkade up near the north.
Whoa.
How the hell?
That's like the whole way across the map.
Why do they need us? They could like just warp in, warp out.
Right?
Well, he did mention that there were some kind of special defenses that they had on the Citadel, right? Which is why they needed a Kuhlmann team to kind of infiltrate it. So you imagine it's probably protected against teleportation and that kind of thing. He has a little plasma rifle that he takes a shot at the Aegis with, and a bolt of blue energy springs out and critically hits with a 22, dealing 7 energy
Nice.
damage.
Nice.
Nice shot.
Does that down it?
No, actually, the Aegis actually has a couple armor, so it's still up. Yeah,
Looks pretty tough.
Okay. I'd like my automat to fire
Ah,
in
yes.
on the Aegis.
absolutely. Yeah, a couple. And again, this guy does have a fair bit of armor, so that doesn't do like a huge amount of damage, but you see it plink away at the armored shell there.
Nice.
So the last lurker that's to the west was kind of in the, like, just past the parkade there. It expels another shroud zone. And then you see it disappear and reappear inside the shroud zone beside Vestige.
Oh, what the hell?
And it looks like the weapon is actually a little more accurate when he's inside the zone as well.
Of course.
Oh.
So he whips out his energy whip, hits again for another 8 kinetic damage.
Oh, geez. I'm taking one structure.
And you'll need to make a structure check.
Yikes.
I think you also have custom paint job. So you get to roll a d6, and on a 6, you have managed to evade the worst of that hit.
Okay. 2.
Nope, afraid not.
Now we get to see what bad stuff happens.
So you took some critical damage, which is a glancing blow.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's all right. Emergency systems kick in and stabilize your mech, but it's impaired until the end of your next turn.
Oh,
You're
that's
impaired
not
while
bad.
you're inside the shroud zone anyway. So
You fool. They don't stack.
nope, they sure don't. But I guess that will follow you if you leave the zone is the downside.
Okay.
Okay. At the end of the round, the truck is going to move up. And additionally, over in the park, On the fountain, there is that large golden statue of an Aunic man.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh.
You see some lights begin to glow on it, and it begins to lift its legs, and it springs to life.
I fucking knew it.
Anima, your statues always come to life.
Only the really cool ones. So yeah, this gigantic golden statue starts charging towards you at full blast, towards Mother, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
And you see it kind of sends this little virus over at you that's messing with your targeting systems. You have +3 difficulty to attack anybody except the Goliath, which is what the statue is.
Fuck, okay.
+3 difficulty, that's nuts.
That's what you're doing with your stupid eggshell generator. So.
How long does it last for?
Until the start of the Goliath's next turn. So It'll just be for 1 round.
All right.
Okay.
There is actually one more thing that happens at the start of the round, which is you hear the distant sound of jet engines. Anima had warned you that there's a pretty robust airfield near the base here. And you see from the west over the apartment buildings, you see a small wing of fighter jets starting to approach the battlefield.
That's not good.
Luckily, they're called grunts, so I think we can take them out in one shot.
Yes, you can tell that they're grunts, so they're not super tough, but you do have to hit them.
Yeah.
Okay, that is the end of the round. And it's back over to you guys.
All right.
Matt, I would like to go.
Go for it.
I'm in a pickle.
Yeah, that you are.
All right, so I got 2 lurkers on me and an Aegis.
Yeah.
I know the Aegis is pretty tough. I don't think the lurkers are super strong.
Not in their natural state, but they're a lot harder to hit when they're in the shroud zone.
So I'll move to the other side of them.
I don't know if you'd be able to do that right now because they're in front of you and there's the tree to the south of you, so you're kind of pinned in there a bit.
Okay, maybe I'll try to cut my way through, and if I don't, then I'll maybe grapple my way out. Okay, so I'll attack the one I pulled towards me then. So I'm going to continue to use my nanocarbon sword. I got a 17 to hit.
Nice.
It would be 7 damage. I do need you to roll a D100.
Oh, 85.
Okay, you do hit.
Yeah.
And you said it was 7 damage?
Yeah.
You swing your sword and this oppressive dark pressure that's inside the shroud zone, it tempers the force behind your attack, and the lurker just manages to hold on, but it's looking pretty bad.
Okay, he will take a second swing then. I managed to roll a 0.
Well, that's a big old
nice. Nice.
Here's the good news. That's a reliable weapon, right? So it always does 3 damage, even on a miss. And even with his armor and resistance, that deals exactly 1 damage, which is exactly how much health he has left. So.
Yeah.
I wasn't even looking.
So those are my 2 actions. I will use up my movement then, so maybe I will use my grapple hook. And I'm going to go through them.
Yeah, I think they will get an attack opportunity against you as you do, but...
Okay.
What if he used that other movement type?
Yeah, so you do have the option of moving with the stratagem, but that has to be at the end of your turn.
Oh,
this is
right.
The end. Oh, so I would only be able to move 2.
Yeah.
I see what you mean. I'll take the attack then.
Okay.
Famous last words.
Oh, you're lucky he misses.
Yeah.
Because that would have pulled you back towards him. And
Oh, no.
but he misses. He gets a 9.
All right. And then I will move my 2. We're kind of sandwiching the truck right now, so.
Yeah.
Truck sandwich.
All right. Matt, did you want to go, or should I give it to Anima?
Maybe give it to Anima, and let's see how the rest of the scene plays out.
All right.
All right, Anima, you're up next.
Okay. Before Anima can go, the Aegis will get a turn. And you see, again, it has that little shield bubble inside. And you see that shield expand to cover a burst 3 area. So you see this big energy shield project from the Aegis. And that'll make it a little more difficult to hit anybody or to damage anybody inside that zone.
I really thought that's what the priest was going to be doing. Priest just sounds like a protector of some sort to me, but...
Nobody knows because it died immediately. And the Aegis is immobilized, so that's all it can do. So Anima will go next. So you see Anima teleports again, stepping out of the visible universe for a moment. This time he reappears on top of, inside of, somehow occupying the same space as the Aegis. The two mechs seem to disobey the laws of the universe for a brief moment, like a glitchy video game with no clip turned off. For a brief moment, the laws of the universe seem to be kind of overridden before it violently reasserts itself. And with a flash of light, the Aegis is torn asunder, and Anima is shunted backwards.
Wow.
He does take a little bit of damage.
Oh my god. That was the coolest thing I've ever seen.
That's badass.
I will take payment in the form of your mech.
Something else weird happens, though. For that brief moment where the laws of physics as you know it didn't seem to be working quite right, Rusk, you experienced a sensation like an electrical shock. It's like static electricity and the bitter taste of raspberries. Matt, you can't taste, but you do have kind of a quick visual flash to a field of berry bushes.
That's so weird.
That's nice.
And this all lasts for only the briefest moment before the Aegis is destroyed and Anima is shunted back out.
Does that shield go down at all, or is that still staying up?
Yes, it does actually when the Aegis dies.
Cool.
Now that black wall is gone, Anima will use his move, which is he teleports behind the trees there. Matt will be the next ally. There's still an enemy turn, which I guess will be this lurker. He creates another shroud zone.
Oh, no. It's right in front of your face, Matt.
Unbelievable.
Kind of on your face.
Gross.
Yeah, I think it just touches you there, actually. So you...
Yeah. Yuck.
The lurker teleports to the shroud zone right in front of you and swings his energy whip at you.
At me?
At you, at Mother.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Now he is going to have a load of difficulty.
It dares to do this?
Yes.
What? At me?
Yes, you. He hits you.
What?
He,
How is that possible?
he had one
Oof,
accuracy.
That was a lot of damage.
It is a lot of damage.
He also had 3 difficulty from your eggshell thing. So it worked out to 2 difficulty, but he still got a 13, which hits you
Still
because you're
got me.
big.
Yep. I am big.
Yep. So it deals
Good boy.
8 kinetic damage to you.
Does that structure me or no?
It does.
It will.
Just, yeah.
Oh, no, it will not. Because I'm going to trigger my slasher sustainability suite.
Tell me about it.
Which means once a scene when I suffer structure damage, I can choose to heal up to full HP and then suffer 1 reactor stress instead. So please heal me to full HP and suffer me 1 reaction stress.
I'd love to.
Wonderful.
Nice try.
Yeah, so I guess you probably just like shunt to like some kind of emergency shield generator or something. So it takes a bunch of like energy out of your mech, but protects you from that potentially dangerous hit. Do you want to roll a d6?
I don't know. Is it for something cool?
It's for your stress reactor test thing.
I rolled a 6.
So that emergency shielding thing uses a bunch of energy, and you have to put on some radiators to deal with the influx of heat. Your mech's cooling systems contain the increasing heat. However, your mech becomes impaired until the end of your next turn. But
What?
you are already impaired because you're in the zone.
It's not so bad.
Do you want to go?
Oh, yes, I do. With my quick action, I'm going to just do a skirmish. I'm going to attack with 1 weapon. I am attacking the Goliath, the fucking statue that came to life like a goddamn Halloween movie. And I'm going to use my oversized targeting laser. Let's fucking do it.
Whoa!
That's a crit.
crit.
So it does 4 electric power, funky damage. Energy damage, sparkly damage, and then 3 heat damage as well. And it gains a lock on.
So it's not heat damage, it's burn damage.
Burn damage.
That's even better.
Yeah, it's like a damage over time. He'll take that damage at the end of every one of his turns until he saves against it.
Nice.
And then he disappears.
Fuck yeah, he will. I'm going to use a full action as well to do a barrage, and I'm going to attack with my other 2 weapons because they're on the same mount, and I'm also going to attack the statue man. So I'll roll with the grandmother auto gun first. If I hit, he'll be impaired until the end of his next turn.
Remember, you can use the lock on that you just put on him if you wanted, but you didn't need it.
Don't want to. Don't need to. 8 to hit, and I do 3 damage. It's impaired.
Yeah, he's pretty big, so he's pretty easy to hit.
Yeah. And then I'm going to attack with my Nexus Light, Auxiliary Nexus.
Okay,
I
then.
don't really know what that is.
You just keep hitting him.
Nexuses are usually like little attack drones or or like a smart missile or something like that. So.
Oh, okay. That's another crit. 20 to hit and 3 damage. And I'm just going to move a little bit away from this lurker so I'm not immediately adjacent to it. I'm still adjacent to the truck, though, so I'll just move like 2 steps to the west.
Sounds good.
That's my turn.
Not bad. 13 damage, the damage over time, impaired, and a lock on. So, well done.
Pretty good.
So you unleash a barrage of lasers and auto guns and little like attack drones at the Goliath and start tearing it up. Normally you're just this like spherical mech, but you got these little panels that pop out and there's a battery of weapons there. And you take a couple steps back to protect the truck with your imposing Hulk. And we'll continue the battle in 2 weeks. Thank you for listening to this episode of The House of Bob. If you're having a good time listening, why don't you give us a review on Apple Podcasts? It helps other people find the show, and we can, share this cool little thing with other people too. If you want to chat with us, you can hit us up on social media at The House of Bob, or check out our Discord channel. The link to that is in the notes. If you'd like to support the show financially, stop by our Patreon, where there's lots of bonus content, one-shots, director's commentary, RPG zines, and a monthly blog post. We got some big plans for 2023 for those blog posts, so yeah, check it out. And a huge shout out, huge thanks to all our current patrons. We couldn't do this without you. Artwork for this episode was by Cristina at Merit Cristina on Instagram. Audio production was by Alex of Astronomic Audio. And the music was by Duke Albert. Thanks again for listening. Have a great day. Roll on. I'm going to turn on battle mode here.
Initiate battle mode.
Initiate battle mode.
And me and Anima will be separate.
Anima,
Anima,
yeah.
Anima.
As in,
Like enema, but with an A.
Maybe there's a translation issue there, but so something like this.
Yeah.
My fucking mech. This tiny little truck.
Yeah, I'll make sure to share some screenshots of how ridiculous this thing is.
This is like my mech is there like,
I'm protecting my baby.
Mm-hmm.
Don't touch my truck.
oh my god, I have so many pieces of paper here.
Matt?
And then
Rusk. That was fucking awesome.
Hey, Matt. We should get these guys some Beano.
What?
They keep making gas.
Oh my god.
Beano.
Good one.
You get me.
I always get you for the union.
That's why they've been tearing down all the statues on this planet. Because otherwise they come to life.
I swear that is not my Banaka flavor.
Okay.
Bong.
Bong.
Holy macaroni.